Good day, everyone. I hope that you're still doing well despite the current challenges that we are all facing. Try to look at the things around you. This is all we have in common. According to Wendell Berry, the earth is what we all have in common. We are living in a place where we used to be sufficed with the fresh air to breathe, fresh water to drink, greenery to see, clear seas, verdant mountains, and among others. The earth has a lot to offer to us. Nevertheless, as we thrive and cope with the emerging trends and advances, we became our own version of toxicity, where we made our environment miserable and suffering. Today, human activities greatly affect our environment where we live in. Now, I am going to share to you the 5 major environmental problems that we are facing right now. And later on, we are going to learn on how we make a move and how we take actions as future nation builders in order to care for our environment. Let's get started. First, we have pollution. Pollution is the introduction of contaminants in the environment that causes adverse change. So it comes in different ways. First, we have the very common water pollution. It is when the water bodies are being contaminated with harmful substances that is usually caused by human activities. Take note, human activities. It occurs once we are incessant of throwing our garbage and we dispose our industrial waste inappropriately, which could affect our bodies of water that will lead to marine life disruption. It's very worse. We also have air pollution. It occurs when there is a presence of harmful substances in the air, which is very detrimental to one's health. We can see this often, makikita natin to in urban places where we can witness various culprits in contributing to air pollution. Who are these culprits? These are the smoke-belching vehicles, gases emitted from the factories, excessive carbon gases emission, and a lot more. And still, these are human activities. Other types of pollution includes plastic pollution. Okay? Plastic pollution. This happens when there is an addition of plastic waste to landscape and waterways. So the very common scenario brought by this type of pollution is the reported incidence of a turtle who died because of the plastic straw that was stuck to the turtle's nose. When we look at the video, it was kind of heartbreaking knowing that in a single plastic, one life can be seized helplessly. We also have here noise pollution. This occurs when there is an unwanted or excessive sound that greatly affects health and environmental quality. Okay, so it's still a pollution. As we produce noise through machines, engines, or whatnot, it can interfere with the behavior of certain animals in the ecosystem. It can disturb them. The noise produced can have a physical damage to the hearing organs of other animals, can increase stress level since the environment is so noisy, and it drives certain species away. Second major environmental concern is the never-ending global warming. I know that you have heard it so many times from your previous years and other sources. So it is the rapid rise of Earth's average temperature because of too much emission of greenhouse gases that would cause a change in our climate. In our day-to-day activity, we emit greenhouse gas such as or through driving our cars, using electricity, cooking, and among others. As we breathe out naman, we also exhale carbon dioxide that goes to our environment. This would all generate heat that would develop a change to our climate. Let's move on to another major environmental problem, the overpopulation. It happens when the population of a species becomes so excessive that people deem it must be managed. The issue seeds a lot of problems that may come along our way. The construction of new buildings, apartments, mga establishments, those are essential to meet the demand for new homes. Thus, land conversion will take place, and our environment is again compromised. The demand for electricity, food, and other greenhouse gases also rises, which adds up to global warming. Food scarcity can occur, and ang mga dishonest people nowadays resort to using chemicals and drugs to raise and fake the development of the animals and plants. Also, overpopulation implies that there would be more garbage to dispose, meaning if there are more people, then there are more garbage to dispose. More so, on a recent study conducted by the National Research Council of the Philippines, it was found out that more teenage girls are becoming pregnant in the midst of pandemic. Do you agree with this? Hence, adding up to the growing population in our country, which would consequently give rise to our natural or environmental concerns if not properly educated. Alright, the next environmental concern is the depletion of the natural resources. It happens when resources are consumed at a faster rate than that of replacement. Mining and quarrying have become more common over time, and they are to be blamed for damaging our environment's beauty. Water, oil, and forests rank first and second respectively among our natural resources. In fact, fresh water makes up just 2.5% of total water volume on the planet. If the issues with our water sources persist, the demand for drinking water will rise, resulting in a wretched situation. Water shortage and even worse, famine. Also, figures show that deforestation contributes between 12 and 17% of annual greenhouse gas emissions. Trees produce oxygen and filter the air we breathe. However, if there would be lesser trees, environmental consequences will most likely to happen, and we all gonna have to suffer. The last one is the improper waste disposal. It is the disposal of waste that results to negative consequences for our environment. This includes littering, dumping toxic waste on the ground, and failing to recycle products or materials that should be recycled. Improper waste disposal is a health threat for all, right? So it has the potential to infect people not only physically but also through the air and water we breathe. Garbage dumped in rivers and canals not only clogs up our waterways, but it also allows rats to infect the water, which can quickly spread to humans. Clogged rivers have a potential to overflow, resulting in flash flooding, as this is the case in our country. More so, as we continue fighting with the invisible, the COVID-19 pandemic, recent reports showed that there is what we call COVID waste. So, ginatawag siya nga COVID waste. I have read an article about one of the foreign organizations whose activities include regular picking of litter in oceans. So, it is their advocacy or activity to pick up litters in the ocean. Divers have found out that there are dozens of gloves, masks, and bottles of hand sanitizer beneath the waves of the Mediterranean, mixed in with the usual litter of disposable cups and aluminum cans. This sounds so alarming, right? Those are the 5 major environmental concerns that are present right now. And those problems would implicate other problems such as biodiversity loss, famine, extinction, and even worse, death. Now, as future heroes who are also future nation builders, how can we make a step? How can we take actions? How can we make the world a better place to live in? And finally, how can we foster the Makakalikasan spirit within and among us. Remember this acronym nature. First, N, nurture. Mahatma Gandhi once said, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. In this very reason, it's time for us to reflect, to nurture what we have around us. Let us start in our homes by taking care of our plants and animals. Practice proper segregation of garbage, proper disposal, and recycling of solid waste. Next, A for activate. Change starts within ourselves. It's cliche, yet it remains true. Let's activate being eco-friendly by utilizing reusable bags. When we shop for food or we buy our books and clothes, let's practice using reusable bags to save our environment. Also, as student leaders, you can craft programs and activities that could help your school and your fellow students save our environment. You can have clean and green program, search for the cleanest classroom. In fact, we have done it before during my SSG term, and it had a positive impact in maintaining the cleanliness of the school premises. Also, we can have a water bottle campaign because instead of using plastic bottles, our students will practice using their own bottled water. And in that way, we can save our environment. I know that all of you are 21st century learners and you think outside the box. With this, you got a lot of ideas on how to take care of our environment. T is for treasure. The words that Theodore Roosevelt said for his country remains true for the whole world. He says, "Here is your country. Cherish these natural wonders, cherish the natural resources, cherish the history and romance as a sacred heritage for your children and your children's children." It challenges us to treasure our natural resources, to treasure every single life for the next generations to come. We can treasure our environment through preserving our natural resources. Let us save water and electricity and stop deforestation and all forms of pollution. U is for unite. Be united with a common goal to save our environment. Develop community linkages by tapping our local government units and even our barangays, our SK officials, to conduct tree planting activities, climate adaptation trainings and seminars, cleanup drive, coastal cleanup, and among others. As SK chairperson, we also tap the SSG officers in advocating environmental protection. Pwede kaayo mo tap si SK official kay SSG president or SSG officers, and then si SSG officers mo tap pod kay SK ingana. So ana lang, tinabangay lang ta. Hopefully, we will make it this month and I am looking forward to be working with the future heroes in our nation. Remember, no man is an island. With good communication and collaborative effort, we can reach our common goal to save our environment. R is for relate. As what I have said earlier, the earth is what we all have in common. We are interrelated. We have this connection to save each other. Maong magpakabana tang tanan. Let us not be blinded of what is really happening. Thus, try to relate your experiences right now and reflect on how you are going to take actions in helping resolve these environmental concerns. Lastly, E for express. How can you express your love and sincerity in our environment? As youth leaders and heroes of tomorrow, how can you best express your care for our environment? Simple. Through your actions. As what the saying goes, leadership has the capacity to translate the vision into reality. To encapsulate, you became knowledgeable of the 5 major environmental concerns that we are still combating up to this present days. And you also learned the acronym NATURE for you to at least minimize this concern. N is for nurture. You are to nurture our environment, the things around you, in order for you to A, activate being eco-friendly or environmental friendly. And then you are to treasure T. Treasure our natural resources, and you unite with people whom you could ask for help in order for you to relate your experiences of what we are facing. And finally, you are to express your concerns, you are to express your care to our environment through your own actions. Youth of today, I do hope that in this little way, I have encouraged you to build the core value, Makakalikasan, within you. This is of great significance, especially that you would face tougher challenges ahead, and one of which is to protect our environment. Lastly, I'd like to leave a quote for you to inculcate, and that is to save our environment as our environment saves us. Thank you, and God bless us all.